So, Indonesian President Joko Widodo delivered 2 addresses before the parliament at Nusantara Building in Senayan, Jakarta.
He first addressed the annual assembly of the parliament, and afterwards the president spoke in the opening of the 2024-2025 session on the introduction of the draft law on 2025 state budget.
Now, to dive deeper into the president's speeches today, we are joined by President's special staff on legal matters, Dini Purwono. Ms. Purwono, thank you so much for being here in the
Thank
studio.
you for having me.
Of course, it's a delight. But also, that was a particularly significant speech by President Widodo in regards to the upcoming transition to the next administration. So, if we can pinpoint, what are the key messages that the president and his government want to convey?
Yeah. Okay. If you notice in this year's speech, the State of Nation address that the president delivered, in the meeting this morning, right? In a session, in a joint session this morning, it's different than the speech that he gave, earlier, like previously.
Years before.
Yeah, years before, because now we don't talk about the performance, of the administration in the last 1 year, but we talk about in the past 10 years, the whole administration. Basically, President Joko would like to ensure smooth transition, of course. Then he basically wants to highlight that everything, that has been put down, late in the last 10 years, in his administration, is basically a foundation, for Indonesia to take off, moving towards developed Indonesia. So basically, he wants to ensure that the next administration will continue whatever, that has been put in place in the last 10 years, to ensure that we make a leap progress, and achieve, not only achieve, but on timely basis, the 2045 Indonesian Golden Vision. Because we don't have, it's only 21 years away, right? I mean, if you want to redo the whole thing, that has been put in place in the last 10 years, I don't think we have enough time, right, to really achieve that golden moment era in 2045. So basically that's the stress point, the highlight that President Jokowi would like to convey, that, okay, this is what I've done, this is the foundation.
Yeah.
You have to continue.
Okay.
And that's actually relate, maybe later on we would like to elaborate about the apology that he made.
Oh, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
4 times.
Yes.
4 times. Not only once or twice, but 4 times.
Yeah.
That should have a particular meaning to them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you were speaking about this importance of highlighting a smooth transition. As we know, Indonesia is a developing country, and we have goals to meet. And in particular, this state address and also the state budget address is significant because this will relate to the next administration, the next incoming administration. And what's important is, of course, the fiscal budget, right?
Yes.
We need enough fiscal budget to meet the challenges. Now, so tell us more about the process behind the determination of the key parts of the draft budget.
Well, actually, there are 2 types of speech that the president delivered today. The first one is the State of Nation address, right? When he talked about all the generic thing about the program outlined, his apology, his heartfelt gratitude, and so forth. We were involved. I was involved, in drafting that speech. But for the budget, it actually was handled by all our friends, from the Ministry of Finance. But maybe I can share, all the key points, perhaps, that being a, stressing point, when drafting the budget. Basically, you just have to maintain the deficit, right? I mean, you have to cater, for whatever reason, all the ongoing program. Of course, there is consequences. Like all the pandemic, COVID, what have you, all the loan, you have to repay. Maybe it will be due next year, right? During the next administration. You have to cater that. On top of that, you have to continue the ongoing program. There are a lot of things that has been started but haven't finished yet. On top of that, we have new program, like this new lunch thingy, all these new programs. So you have to combine all these things. But, at the end of the day, you have to maintain and you have to ensure that the deficit will be below 3%, right? The inflation rate, maintain I think we're successfully maintaining the inflation rate
Yes.
now
I
at the
agree.
rate 2-3%,
Yes.
right? So we
Yes.
want to stay at that
Is that
rate.
the target?
Yeah.
Also, we want to make sure that basically we have enough budget, right, to
Yes.
like, finance and carry all this program.
Okay.
So yeah, I think inflation rate deficit, also economic growth.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
We want to stay above 5% or even more. So I think that's the three key elements, right, that all the, our friends in Ministry of Finance,
Yeah.
the government have to bear in mind.
Yeah.
Sure.
In order to combine all these three things, continue the program, add on new program, and settle all the pending things, as a consequence of the previous program.
Okay, so now we're going back to the entirety of the speech. You have to say earlier that it is actually different from the previous year's speech.
Yeah.
So it is actually the last State of Nation address from President Joko Widodo. So is it safe to say that we saw how the president made all the conclusion of the 10 years of his administration, and you as the special staff of the president, you need to orchestrate that in terms of course, the economic side of it, and also the development and all the things happening in the country for the past 1 year, let alone 10 years.
Yeah.
What are the difficulties in preparing this speech?
Yeah. So this is behind the scene process, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to hear this.
So every year we have this team led by the Minister's Secretary of State,
Right.
Pak Pratikno. Led by him, assemble a team. Well, the size of team around 15 people, comprises of some, not all, certain presidential special staff president, special staff to Pak Pratik, the Minister Secretary of State, his deputy, his special staff. So all together, more or less 15 people. And we started working normally 2 months before 17 August, because the speech is due on 16 August, right? Every year.
Every year, yes,
During
that's right.
the assembly, the joint session, 16 August. So we normally started end of June. Of course, all the starting point will come from the president. Brainstorming.
Right.
President will just give the key points like, okay, this is the key tones, the flavors. This is what I want to convey this year.
Yeah.
Okay, period. Then we just, gather this team, try to interpret what the president really wants, what president have in mind. That's the most difficult thing.
Okay.
To interpret, because president just give you a really brief, direction, right? This, and this. You just proceed.
Well,
Execute.
is it safe
Give me
to
a
say?
draft. Give me a draft.
So is it safe to say that in the kitchen setting, the president will give you all the ingredients,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
make me a good fine dining session
Yeah.
for all these spectators for this particular event?
Yeah, maybe it's even more generic than that. He's like, I don't feel like something greasy. I feel something soft,
Okay.
not too sweet, but not
too salty.
Just right.
Just
You
right.
know what I mean? And everybody's like, yes.
Actually, we don't know
very
yet, but
interesting.
yes, sir.
Yeah, then all the team will gather.
Right.
Then we'll start throwing points, like
Right.
the me from legal side, economic side,
Right.
like politics. Everybody doing brainstorming, like what do you think? You
Yeah.
look behind, to talk with friends from
Yeah.
the other ministry.
Yeah.
And then you get all the data, and then you just throw pointers. Start with pointers, and then from pointers, you develop narratives, and then narrative become first draft,
Yeah.
second draft,
Yes.
and then the feedbacks, process,
Yeah.
back and forth, president, the state, secretary of state, took 2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
So
Wow.
that's actually what I
2
want to
months.
ask. If you can say, how many drafts were there? I mean, there must have been so many.
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
really keep track, lost track. I mean, at the end of the day, we just wait, where's the final draft? Or the eve, night on the 16th or something.
So the final draft
Yeah, keep
was concluded
confidential. Yes.
on the night before.
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But, you know, there were some articles talking about it as well, because after the address, the rupiah managed to strengthen, right? So I guess there was some success.
good,
I think it
right?
was
I mean,
up to 15,693, below 16,000, right? Which hasn't been. So, you know.
I think the key is sustainability, right?
Right.
Smooth transition from
Smooth
one administration to the next administration.
Right, and that's the great thing about the Indonesian government, because, you know, President Joko Widodo and President-elect Prabowo Subianto, they have a great relationship.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, they see a lot of things in the same vision.
Yeah.
Right, so I want to ask you, or to tell us more about the programs that were outlined in this speech. He mentioned quite a few in the second state budget address. You know, tell us more about those programs and how they can maybe relate to the challenges that Indonesia will face next year, because President Joko Widodo did mention that, you know, the global economy is stagnant. Things are not really as great yet.
Yeah.
We just got out of the pandemic, but there's wars around the world. Global economy is not
Yeah.
You know, with the job
Politics,
situation at the
Exactly.
moment,
yeah.
yes.
Right.
Uncertainty, the U.S. election, right? Well, if you look at the key programs, you know, that President Jokowi administration, you know, has already like started and proven, you know, to give benefits, you know, to people of Indonesia. Let's start with, you know, in the Department of Social Security. We already have this Smart Indonesia card.
Yeah.
We spend a lot, you know, on Health Indonesia card first, right? We spend like over 300 trillion rupiah. Health Indonesia card, Health Indonesia card is over 361 trillion. And Smart Indonesia card is over 100 trillion. And then on top of that, we also have pre-employment card. We have this cash transfer. We have this family whole program. I think that's the thing that we have to maintain and improve moving forward. We need money for that, right? That's the challenge. And the second one, infrastructure. Like it or not, we have to continue.
Yeah.
Because we need that, you know, to provide equal and balanced access, you know, and to boost economic related activity.
Yeah.
And not only talking about like big, like major infrastructure project, right? But we also, this is the thing that people sometimes miss, right? When we're talking about infrastructure, then people think about like mega project.
Yeah.
But actually not. We also have to pay attention on small infrastructure that have significant direct impact, you know, to the daily life of people, like schools, right? Clear water pipelines, water dam, bridges, right? Stuff like that. We have to continue. We have to build, you know, like President Jokowi said in his speech, right? We built, you know, Indonesia from the what? From the suburb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want Java-centered development.
Yeah.
He
Indonesia-centered,
keep
right?
repeating
Yeah.
that
Repeating
again
that,
and
yes.
again
Yeah.
and again. We want Indonesia-centered
Yeah.
development. Yeah. Number three, like you mentioned before, the export ban of raw material.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean that also relate. You know, if we talk about the acquisition of Freeport,
Yeah.
Rokan,
Yeah.
you know. Basically, the idea is we want to manage, you know, all these resources, you know, for the great the greatest benefit of Indonesian people.
Yeah.
So, of course, we want to stop, you know, exporting these natural resources, raw material without giving any added value. So we want to process all this thing domestically, you know, we want to give added value. That would boost, you know, like increase our revenue, state revenue, and also create jobs for the benefit of our people. That's not without challenge, right?
Yeah.
You know that the industrial, you know, countries, you know, challenge us, etc. But that's the thing that I think we have to continue, and that will be the challenge, you know, of the next administration, right? Also, mitigation of climate change. Like it or not, we have to do it, right? I mean, you have to keep lowering deforestation, and then, like, you know, fostering and promote the use of renewable energy. Another challenge, because, you know, yes, we need renewable energy, but the technology, you know, for producing renewable energy is not cheap. So how? But we have to do it, you know, in order to mitigate further disaster, you know, to this earth and humankind.
Yeah.
So the choices are, it's either now or suffer later.
Yes, and it's already started, in Jokowi's administration. And you have to continue. Digital transformation, INA digital already in place, right? With digital transformation, you digitalize everything. Everything will be like super fast, right? You will boost economic growth. In the business sector.
Yes.
In the governance sector, you digitalize, the government, everything will be like more accountable, transparency, and ease of public service, right? Last but not least, continuity of development of IKN.
Yeah,
Our capital city, right? I mean, it has to be seen. Of course, there are a lot of pros and cons, in this issue, in this topic. But I think we have to see it as a, gate, of modern Indonesia, right? A gate, and also an icon of Indonesia, like I said, Indonesia-centered development. And also, the most important thing, this is not the commitment made by Pak Jokowi himself, not a commitment made by the government himself, but this is a joint commitment, right? We have undang-undang IKN. The law has been passed. So this has to be seen as a joint commitment by the House of Representatives, right? DPR. And the government, and it has to be followed up and followed through.
Now, it's actually interesting that you mentioned about law. And although the public has been highlighting on the past 10 years of Joko Widodo's administration on the law enforcement being not really in the satisfactory level of the public. But after 79 years, we have the new penal code of law, right?
Yes.
And also we have the omnibus law as well as the new law on the
sexual violence.
Yes. And how do you see that would be continued in terms of enforcement in the next administration? Because as we know, public has been criticized on that.
Yeah, that's also one of the things that needs to be continued. But of course, there is no perfect administration, right? I mean, imperfection of one administration has to be perfected, by the next administration.
One, yes, I agree. Yes. I agree.
Yeah, at least, I mean, you have to see a glass is half full, right? I mean, at least, there are some improvement. At least there are some progress. So yeah, we have to keep improving, moving forward, continuing, all the positive, positive things. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so we've been discussing about this because this is important because it shifts to the next administration, including the budget as well. So talk to us about the key legacies or flagship programs of President Widodo's administration that should be carried forward by the next administration. You mentioned a few already, but maybe elaborate more.
I think I already mentioned
Yeah.
more. Yeah, I think those are the keys. Yeah, those are.
Oh, but maybe if that being so, what is your hope for the next continuation of the program as a citizen? As a citizen, for the next Indonesia for years ahead.
Of course, sustainability is the key, right? Because time is of the essence. We cannot just always redo, cancel out,
We cannot turn back time.
Yes, and start everything from scratch, change all the blueprint. I mean, we're gonna be like neither here nor there, right? So sustainability is the key, commitment, consistency. That's it. I think meritocracy, of course, professionalism. I want to see more, meritocracy, spirit and professionalism injected, into our government. Yeah, that's what I hope.
So we also hope the same as citizen that we could actually go forward, not backwards, and we can actually continue what's being built at the moment, and also from the past all the way to the future. And also we need supports from all stakeholders, and also most importantly from the citizen.
Yes, of course. And actually it's mentioned by the president, right?
Yes.
I mean, he apologized 4 times because he feels like, he cannot really finalize and perfecting, all the things that he already started during his administration. And that's why he apologized. But he also I think he said more than one time, right?
Yeah.
Like
4 times.
Expressing his heartfelt gratitude, to all Indonesian people. Did you notice that I would like to thank all Indonesian people, your smiles, your greetings, your prayers, has been the fountain of strength to me, he said.
Right. It's a difficult job.
It's a difficult job.
Being a president.
You know what?
Maybe the hardest job.
Can you imagine, as a president, he said like, the smile, the greetings,
That's beautiful.
yeah, the prayers, from all Indonesian people has been the fountain of strength to me.
And
He said,
what's unique for me from this speech is actually it's unraveling the humanist side
Yes.
Yeah.
of President Joko Widodo as a president that we had been seeing for the past, 9 years, 10 years, right?
because he always having a flat face.
Yeah.
No feeling whatsoever.
Yeah, no
But then at the end of the day, he admit, right?
Yeah.
He acknowledged
that is-
thank you to all Indonesian people, for all your support. You've been by my side all the way, enable me to reach the finish line strong.
Wow.
Amazing. It's
Is-
amazing.
Is that something that he really wanted to have in the speech?
Yeah, of course, otherwise he wouldn't approve the speech.
I mean, from the start, like when you guys were throwing points.
Like
Well, it's a-
saying the
of course,
stuff.
yeah.
I want it to be
Yeah.
heartfelt and feeling.
Yes.
Like projecting
He
my.
said it from the beginning.
Wow.
He said it from the beginning.
Said it from the beginning because this is my last speech.
Yeah.
I want it to be personalized.
Like lay all the cards.
Personally, yes.
Lay all the cards.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how he feels after running the country for
10 years, man.
man.
Yeah.
and really bringing it forward.
Right. Yeah.
Many projects.
All right, President, Special Staff on Legal Matters, Dini Purwono, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure
in the
is
studio.
mine. Thank you so much.
And also sharing it, with us what you've done with the team as well as letting us know what the president really felt during the making of the draft and also the speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So we are going for a quick break for this hour, but when we come back, we'll again have the latest from Southeast Asia and also around the world.
And also later during the hour, I'll again bring you the latest from the world of business. So keep it right here on the 3-Hour News Show, only on CTV.